my 30 for 30. Just get better. I remember when Matt brought up the subject of 30 for 30 when we were talking about our 30th anniversary and kind of melding the ESPN Classic 30 for 30 that was done for their 30th anniversary with the BFFLs. It was just the perfect fit. And then I thought, what could I talk about? Well, like I'm sure many of you were wondering what to talk about, I look back in my life in the BFFL, and I thought about when Bobby and I started the league way back in 1990, 91, and I thought, well, we had a motto, and that was every year, just get better. And I tell you, that has been such an important part of the BFFL because it's been not something that just me or Bobby has looked at each year to get better, but every single person in the BFFL. And every single person has done some part to make the BFFL better each and every year. So I figured what better way than to look at the top 10 Just Get Betters over the last 30 years. So in ESPN fashion, and with some wonderful graphic creative help from my youngest, Sierra Hatton, we now present the top 10 greatest BFFL Just Get Betters. Number 10, college player to watch, 2003. Yeah, it shocked me. We've had that around since 2003. And in fact, it was the improved rookie franchise tag, which was started in 1997. Now, of course, at the rookie franchise tag, if we had a most controversial top 10, I'm sure that would be at the top of the list, along with Eddie's elbow to Frank and probably any trade that the Heroes have been involved in. But this is about the college player to watch and integrating some sort of unique measure, which we've had to focus on a Saturday college football player that ultimately will be part of your BFFL fantasy team the following year to play for you on Sundays. There have been some great college players to watch that have been identified. The first great one, probably Adrian Peterson, picked by the Fusion, won the college or won the Rookie of the Year. And then, of course, Ezekiel Elliott, which was picked by the Heroes, won not only the Rookie of the Year, but the only rookie to win the MVP. And then the strategy, of course, whether to pick the college player to watch or to let him go back into the pool, and the strategy that goes into that. And of course, who could forget the Darren McFadden block that the Bandits did way back when they decided to pick him on the first round. So, well, win some, you lose some. So there's no doubt that certainly is something that is incredible to the BFFL. Number 9, special recognition. And I think we all know what these are. The focus, I think, was started way back in, let's say, 1997, when we actually instituted a Players Hall of Fame. So our actual BFFL NFL players that were doing amazing in the BFFL, we created a Hall of Fame for them. The first class that went in, 97, Jim Kelly and Joe Montana, pretty good class. And since then, we've had 37 players that have gone into the BFFL Hall of Fame, including two of the greatest, Peyton Manning and Tony Gonzalez, and of course that wonderful GOAT tournament we had just recently. But there's also been the Owners Hall of Fame, which is certainly something amazing. And I don't think there's probably any other league that has a Hall of Fame for its fantasy league, but we certainly have one and deserve one because people, especially the first inductee, which was Richard Vickery back in 2005, Papa Bear started back in the 1991 season. He was one of the original 8, and he was recognized with his induction in 2005. And then, of course, in 2012, we recognized Frank DeCesare when he was battling cancer in Houston, and he videoed into the Super Weekend, and unfortunately passed the following year on Super Weekend. But two incredible Hall of Fame owners that certainly have blessed us. Then the 25th Anniversary Club. Ironically, on our 25th anniversary, we were able to recognize some of our owners, and each year since, we've been able to focus on those owners who have actually participated in the league for 25 years or more. And that includes all of the original 8 that are still with us, 7 of us that are still there, the Terry twins, of course, Scott and Jeff, and then Jim Stefanik. So, and there are about 4 or 5 more that are within shooting distance. And then, of course, our J.J. Watt honoree, which we started 2 years ago, which was just to honor a special person each year in the BFFL. And of course, 2018 is when it was initiated, and the first honoree was Sarah Sarasu, which set that bar oh so high just for all the amazing things that Sarah has done for us. And then, of course, last year, Austin, from his growth from the kids league into the adult league. So pretty fantastic. Now, of course, what would be number 8? The Brick Hatton Brief back in 1993. Well, the Brick Hatton Brief certainly truly started as just a newsletter for the BFFL, but it has certainly evolved into something more, much, much more. It has become really the history of the league, and it's gone from a 2 or 3 page to something that literally could be summed up in, well, sometimes over 50 pages. But the best part about it, again, is it's not me. It's all of the people who actually do an amazing job of writing the top 10 stories, recounting the excitement that happened at the Super Weekends, the family focus, all the kids that write, those kind of things that make it a truly team effort. And I can only once again say thank you for all of the folks who have made the Brick Hatton Brief what it is, and our history as well. Number 7. It's actually junkets, but junkies, hey, starting in 2005. And truth be told, I honestly didn't know what a junket was until Bobby actually said it when we were talking about, again, a Just Get Better, and he suggested doing a junket. Again, didn't know what it was. But it was a trip, and it was something that was going to impact the BFFL in truly wonderful ways. In 2005, when we did the very first one out to San Francisco, speaking of setting the bar very high, it was an incredible experience. Seeing the Redwoods, seeing the Golden Gate. I think the Bucks played San Francisco. Not sure who won. Wayne, do you know? It doesn't really matter. But then there were several more that happened. 06 was Jacksonville. 2007 was New Orleans, the Pink Ladies, the cocktails, and well, that's all I remember. 2008, Chicago. Wow. Not only was it the Bucks and Bears game, but the day before, to be able to go to Wrigley Field, watch the Cubs actually clinch the pennant against the Cardinals, watch the Cubs come out and shower us with champagne that was popping. Pretty legendary. And it's been great that we were able to get the junket started again a decade after the last one and get Farmageddon. Kudos, Doug and Johanna, an amazing experience. So can't wait for the next one. Number 6, well, uniquely BFFL. Wow. So many things that are uniquely BFFL. How many leagues actually have a Pro Bowl game between their best players, Florida versus Georgia? We have the Coach of the Year. Do other leagues really name their Coaches of the Years? Probably not. And I think some of the amazing stuff that we brought, the Eliminator for the number 1 pick, not just mandatory or not just random, but actually having the Eliminator when we did that for several years when we started that back in 2004. And then the Bragging Rights Bowl between the Adult League and the Kids League champion to battle for the ultimate champion for bragging rights started in 2005. And then, of course, probably one of the most unique, the Mila Wire. Wow. I mean, you can tell people about that and they love it. So 2009, and of course we started the draft order playoffs in 2012. So number 5, weekly guest write-ups, started in 2006. Well, from 1991 to basically 2005, I kind of did the weekly write-ups for 15 years. And then something happened in 2006. Had Macy and Kinsey, and along came Sierra. And it was just too much. And so I asked for a little help from my friends, and wow, I wish I had asked for it way before 2006. Because what it started was truly not only the weekly write-up, but what I like to call the Brick Hat banter. And we saw just amazing creativity from pretty much all of our owners. And literally for 7 years, we had the weekly write-ups. The creativity was truly amazing. Jamie started it off that year, and in 2006 set, again, a super high bar. And we had the Did You Know? We had the All Sports Edition. We had the No Sports Edition. We had the Wine Edition. We had the Chuck Norris Edition, which, of course, I'm sure everybody remembers. And then, of course, we had that yearly Thanksgiving by Mike and Frank, their edition. So those kind of things were truly, truly amazing. And I think one of the things that people also remember, again, the banter that created the "'Twas the Night Before" the BFFL, that write-up by John, the famous Hello Kitty one by Jamie. And of course, the Calvin Williams was robbed by Jamie. There are so many more that were truly classics. Even Jamie got published a couple times in the Fantasy Football Index. So our creativity was really unleashed starting in 2006. Number 4, classic competitions. Well, now we're getting into the really, really good stuff. What can you say? Started in 1992. Florida versus Georgia, flag football. At that time, it was kind of like steep hill, incline on concrete, touch maybe. Truly an amazing experience. And so many things just even from that took. It was Georgia's dominance. We had Wayne's 8-touchdown game. We certainly had Doug's last-minute run to keep the Georgia streak intact, and then ultimately Frank's last-second catch to finally help Florida win its first game. And then, of course, this guy, Trey Hardy, which happened to be the world's greatest athlete in training, helped Florida to a victory or two with his dominance. So then in 1994, we had the actual Olympics. With the Olympics approaching into Atlanta, we brought that into the BFFL, and who could forget all of the battles that we had? Truly, from the events that we had at Wild Times, Jamie's great experience that he helped lead, and then, of course, just the individual events. Wayne's dominance and foosball, obviously, and then, of course, the classic Jamie and Eddie ping pong, which was literally the highlight of the Super Weekend for so many years. Of course, we had the March Madness in 2003. Everybody loves March Madness, but how many people bring it in as a classic and unique competition into their fantasy football league? And truly, for 15 plus years now, that has been the unofficial start to the BFFL season. And then, of course, Texas Hold'em. We had to bring that competition in. And since 2005, that one's been going strong. Still trying to figure out how Rick hasn't won that yet. And then 2012. How it took us to 2012 to institute paper football. And thank goodness Samantha saw that when she arrived on the scene, and we kicked off paper football, which is now pretty much the iconic event of Super Weekend. So those classic competitions with their hardware and everything, there's no doubt that that is one of the things that keeps us going. Number 3, championship jerseys. Yeah, truly our rings. I know a lot of leagues have what they have is whether they have these great trophies, and hey, we have the Lon Hatton Trophy, which was amazingly named after my dad, it was a great thing. But you know, when we don the jersey, that's really what we go after, and we don't play for money. That's one of the great things too. We play for pride, trophies, but really that jersey. So it's great because we get to be able to identify our favorite team. We get to identify the year that we won and our team name. And being able to have that fight for that jersey, multiple jerseys if you get the chance, that's what truly makes it great. And then ultimately we took it to one level after starting that in 2003, going back, getting all the previous champions their jerseys, going forward. We took it a level higher in 2013 when Jim Stefanik said, I'm kind of out of jerseys, guys. I've got the 5. So we then donned it to the helmet. So taking even the championship jerseys up one level. So, all right, the final 2. Number 2, the Kids League. There's pretty much, nothing sweeter than to be able to have your own legacy. And since 2000, when it was initiated, to be able to have a true family aspect to this league, and to have something that basically every year you get to see the next generation kind of battle it out and ask you questions, watch games with you, learn as the legacy grows. Ultimately, that will be our future. As we retire or just sit on the sidelines and see our kids and the like go from kids league to ultimately the adult league. It's truly one of those things that's amazing. And a great thing about the kids league, it's got a tradition of its own. It was actually first person that kind of led it was John. John led it. Of course, he had Austin, the prodigy in the making, and Austin, along with Trevor, won the very first one in 2000. And then ultimately, Matt took it over and kind of became a commissioner, kind of ramped that up a little bit, was able to have a trophy and then named it after Rebecca Ann Vickery, which was just an amazing honor to be able to do that. And so now the Kids League champions are able to have that trophy. And certainly when Matt became the commissioner of the Adult League, being able to have Austin become the commissioner of the Kids League was something that was truly amazing. And he has taken it to the next level. He's taken it from doing not just points scored, but actually being able to have championship games. He actually created a Kids League logo. And there's no doubt that we'll always continue to get better there as well. So, number one, can you guess it? Probably can't. The Super Weekend. Well, there is no doubt that the Super Weekend, created back in 1994 for the first time. Actually, Jim Stefanik kind of came up with the name of our Super Weekend. And it's been amazing. We've had it since 1994. It's been truly our family gathering. It is our family reunion. We do it every year. I'm hoping this video sees a bunch of us gathered at our house watching it, and hopefully we are doing that, because it's certainly, if for some reason we don't get to do it this famous 2020 year, our 30th anniversary, we'll certainly be back next year. But it's something that's so amazing, and it's incorporated so many different people with their homes, their residences. It's been truly amazing. Again, like I said, started in 94 at Wayne's World 1 at Berkeley Lake, and then it obviously had its time at the Killer's Kingdom, started in 1998 at Jamie's, and then 2003 when it kind of hit that big Wayne's World 2 in Clemson, which was truly an amazing time. 2007 was actually the very first time it came down to Tampa. And actually in 2007, it was the idea when we came up with a rotation. So we've been able to then rotate it from Tampa to Clemson to Atlanta, Tampa, Clemson to Atlanta, and enjoy the rotation so that everybody gets to do it. And certainly from the early days, the classics of being able to watch the games on Sunday after drafting our teams on Sunday, I think the old school still have hope that maybe one day with some scheduling, and who knows, with a longer 18-game season, they might actually someday get to that Labor Day having games. And maybe we'll just switch it up and make that happen again, because that was truly a classic. But certainly from the Friday night pokers to just getting everybody to see people coming in from Friday nights. And I'll remember a classic. I'll remember seeing Andrew at the Terry's house during one Super Weekend when he had traveled down from Alabama. And I was like, Andrew, I didn't know you were coming. I said, don't you guys like have a big game? I mean, Alabama, come on, you're number one, you're ranked. Why are you here? And he's like, I wouldn't miss this for the world. Wow. Just left me kind of speechless. It still does, just thinking back about it. So those kind of things are amazing. And being able to do so many of the things we've talked about on numbers 2 through 10 here, from the Florida-Georgia flag football game, certainly to the Olympics, to the paper football. We've had so many things that actually happen, and we get to experience, most of all, our family and everything that we get together as a BFFL to enjoy at Super Weekend. So that's the top 10. Hope you've enjoyed it, and we love you.